Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to what? Open the notepad, and then am I showing my screen? No, I'm not showing my screen. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is opening the notepad, and then I have to save this file. Control S, and let's say I'm gonna save it on the desktop, and let's give it a name of spacing.html. Okay, now we have this file, the name of spacing. So how do we split our screen? What was the shortcut for splitting our screen? Yeah, window right for the Chrome and window left for the. Okay, so let's start our boilerplate. This is called boilerplate. Okay, the HTML and the head and the body, it's called boilerplate. So inside the HTML we have our head, and then we have our body. So inside the head, let me give a title, let's say spacings. Save it, navigate. Okay, so now I guess I need to tell you guys about the shortcuts. So for example, currently I'm in notepad, okay, and I want to shift towards Chrome in order to refresh this tab. Okay, so I want to do it without touching the mouse. Do you guys know about the shortcut? So how can we shift from one window to another window without actually taking help from mouse? Do you guys know about the shortcut to shift from one window to another? Very good, Alt tab. So basically you hold down the Alt, and then you press tab one by one, and you can navigate between the different screens that are open on your screen. Okay, so currently I'm in which tab? Notepad, exactly. How do I know that? How do you know that? Because of the border, because of the white border. I want to go towards the Chrome, so I'm going to press tab again. So now I'm in Chrome. I want to refresh this, but again without touching the mouse. What's the shortcut for refreshing the document? Shortcut for refreshing the document. Take a guess. For example, if you sorry. F5. Exactly, good. F5, and there is another shortcut for refreshing. F5 is one. Control R, very good. Control R and F5, the two shortcuts for refreshing the document. Okay, so I want to now shift back towards my notepad. So again, Alt tab, and inside the body I want to have, let's say, an H1, and then let's say this is first, and I'm gonna write H2. No, let's say a paragraph. And wait, how did you shift back? Again, Alt tab. You have to press Alt tab. Yeah, same thing. So if you want to shift between the windows, Alt tab. Okay. This is a paragraph. Save it. I'm going to shift again from Notepad to Chrome, and what's the shortcut from shifting from one screen to another screen? Alt. Yeah, exactly. Hold down the Alt and then press tab one by one. It's going to shift you towards the different screens that are open, that are currently open in your computer. Okay, so I'm gonna yes, F5. Good. Okay, so I now want to style both of these. What should I do? I want to do internal styling. How do we do internal styling? You guys did 4 assignments, you know. Very good. Inside the head, good. Should we do it after the title or before the title? After the title. Yes, after the title. Let us give some space, and then what should we do? Very good. A tag for style, opening tag for style. Okay, inside these tags, okay, now I want to style this one first, the first one. So how do I target this one? I want to get this H1. Very good. The selector, that is H1, and then very good, the curly braces, and then inside the curly braces I can specify my styling. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to give it a color, the text color. So what's the property for text color? Sorry. Very good. Color, and then in order to equal it we put colons, and then your value, let's say red, and after at the end we put semicolons. Save it and then refresh it. Now we have this red color. Okay, so the second thing I want to do is I want to put background to this. So what was the property for background? Sorry, background. Okay,
Dash color.
Why do we put dash? Why do we have to put dashes?
Mm,
Because it's a CSS syntax, the way of writing CSS. If you have more than two words, two or more than two words, you put a dash to separate them. Okay, background color, and then in order to equal it, we have to put colons, and then let's say I want a black color in the background. Save it, refresh it, and then I'm gonna navigate to Chrome and then refresh it. Now we have the background color. Okay, so I have a question for you guys here. Why does this black background takes up full space? Why does this black background?
because it's a block element.
Very good. It's a block element. That's why it's taking up the full space. Very good. Okay. So, sorry, is there a question? Okay, there isn't. Okay, I want to take this text and I want to put it in the center. What's the property for that? In order to
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Is it text align?
Very good. The text align. I want to align this text. So the property is very good. Text align. How do we write text align?
Text dash align.
Very good. Text dash align. And then let's say how many properties can this text align take? Values. How many values can it take? Either
Three.
Three. Exactly. Good. And those three values are
Left, center, right.
very good. Left, center, right. I want to put it in the center. So let's say center. Save it. Refresh it. Okay. Now we're gonna move towards the new properties, and these new properties are really important. These properties are gonna be used even if we are at the end of the course. These properties are still going to be used. So that's why I want you to pay really close attention. Okay. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is first tell me how do we increase or decrease the size of text? How do we do that? If you want to increase or decrease the size of text, very good, font size. That is for the text. Okay, how do we increase or decrease the size of the element? Now these two things are different. Okay, the first thing is if we want to resize the text, the property is font size. But if we want to resize the element, now first of all tell me what's the difference between, in this case, for example in this case, what's the text and what is the element? For the H1, this part.
The text is this first,
very
and
good.
the element is one.
And the element is
H1.
very good. The element is H1. Very good. So if you want to basically this is first is the text, and this black background you're seeing, this is H1, this is the element. So if you want to resize the text, we have the property of font size. But if you want to resize the element, okay, if you want to resize the element, we have the property of width. Okay, this width is for resizing the element. So you can put whatever you want. We can put, let's say 500 px. It's gonna resize it to how much? 500 px. Okay, so let's say there's another thing, and this thing is really important. Let's say I'm gonna say 40%. Now what does this 40% mean? What does this 40% refer to? Percentage is always, you need to remember this, the percentage is always relative to something. Okay, whenever we put percentages in CSS, it's always relevant to something. Now I've put 40% for this H1. So what is this 40% relevant to? Can you guess what this
H1?
No, H1 is relevant to something. I've put width of 40% on H1, right? The width 40% is for H1. So percentage is always relevant to something. So can you guess what this 40% is relevant to? Now there's a really important concept in this question.
It's gonna make the text size.
No. The width is for the element size. For text size we have font size. Okay. So the important concept is You need to listen it really carefully. Percentage is always relevant to something, and in this case, there's a really important concept. This h1 is going to take up 40% of its parent. Okay, the concept involved here is the parent-child relationship. Now, what is the parent and what is the child in this case? Can you guess? H1 is a child. Okay, H1 is a child, but H1 is child of what?
The width?
No. Which is the property of H1?
The parent?
Yeah. Who's the parent of
The
H1?
body?
Yes, you were. I've heard something about.
The body?
Exactly. Good. Very good.
I
The
was gonna
body.
say that.
Exactly. The body is the parent of H1. Why is that? Because this H1 is enclosed in this body. Okay, if you have a tag that is enclosed in another tag, now the enclosed tag is going to be the parent, and the tag that the tag is enclosed in is going to be the parent. Okay.
We have a question.
Yeah.
For you know how you separated the two screens, the left and the right?
Okay.
How do you open the one on the right again?
Okay. All you have to put hold down Alt key. Okay. Are you
Okay.
using Mac or Windows?
Windows.
Okay. So can you locate the Alt tab on your keyboard?
Okay.
Wait. Let me. Are you using my keyboard?
This is blurry.
Okay, so this is your Alt tab. You have to hold down this Alt tab, and then you have
Okay.
to press this Alt key one by one. If you were to do this, it's going to navigate between the two windows.
So I have
Okay,
to hold Alt.
all you have to press hold Alt, and then you have to press Tab. Not simultaneously, one by one. It's going to navigate you to different windows. Okay.
Okay. Alright.
So did you guys get the concept of parent and child?
Can you just tell me one more time? Sorry.
The Alt and Tab or the width? Parent
Just like the parent
Okay.
child.
This concept is really important. If you don't get it, you have to ask me again and again. Okay, this
Just give
concept
me
is
one
really
second. I'm
important.
writing it down. 1 second.
Okay.
I'll tell you when to start.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So the parent and child concept in HTML is the tag that is enclosed in another tag is the child. In this case, this h1 is enclosed in the body tag. Okay, so who's the parent and who's the child?
The parent is the H1.
No. H1 is enclosed in
The
the body.
child, H1. The
H1
body.
exactly, very good.
Oh,
H1
yeah.
is the parent, and the body is your no. H1 is your child, and body is your parent. Why? Because this H1 is enclosed in the body tag. Okay.
So H1 is enclosed in the body tag. That's why it's the child.
Yes.
And the body is the parent.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Good. So
Thank you.
can you tell me about this one? Who's the parent in this one and the child?
H1 is the child.
No. This one. The paragraph one.
Paragraph is the child.
Yes. And who's the parent?
The H1.
No.
This is first.
Is
That one.
is paragraph enclosed in H1 or is it enclosed in the body?
In H1. Oh, in the body.
Yeah. So who's the parent?
The body.
Yes, the body. Okay. So who's the parent of the body? Like H1 is the child of the body, and body is the parent of H1. So who's the parent of the body?
HTML.
Very good. Exactly. HTML. Why? Because body is enclosed in HTML. What about the head part? Who is the parent of the head?
HTML.
Exactly. Good. Who's the parent of the title?
Head.
Very good. Head. Why is that? Because the title is enclosed in the head. What about style? Who's the parent of style?
The head.
The head. Exactly. Good. And who's the parent of head?
HTML.
HTML. Very good. So we were talking about parent. Did you guys get the concept of parent and child? So any tag that is enclosed in another tag is the child, and the one enclosing that tag is the parent. Okay. Okay. So if now we're clear about the parent and child relationship, this percentage is always relevant to the parent. Okay, whenever we specify the percentages, it is always relevant to the parent. So we have specified 40%. The width of h1 is 40%. Now the question is 40% of what? 40% of what?
Body.
Very good, body. Why is that? Why is 40% of the body?
Because that's the parent of
Very good,
H1.
exactly. Percentage is always relevant to the parent. We have given h1 the width of 40%, so the parent of h1 is body, so the 40% of the body. So percentage is always relevant to the parent. So in this case, what's the width of body?
40%.
100%. No, the body, the 100%. So we've given it the h1 the width of 40%. So this black is going to be how much? How much is it going to span? 40% of
40%.
the body.
40%.
Very good. So now we have this 40%. Okay. Did you guys get the concept of parent and child in percentages? I'm gonna repeat it once more. Okay. So the child is any tag that is enclosed in another tag. Okay. And the one enclosing the tag is the parent. Okay. Then the percentages is always, whenever we give percentages in anywhere in css, it's always relevant to the parent. For example, I have a question for you guys. Let's say the parent is equals to 45%. Okay, the parent is 45%. For the child, I'm going to give it a width of 80%. What does it mean? The parent is 45%, okay, and the child is 80%. What does it mean? I mean, the parent is smaller than the child?
Is it because the child is worth more than the parent?
No.
Or like,
No.
The child is
Okay.
gonna have 80%
Okay.
of the 45%.
Very good. Exactly. This is exactly right. 80% of 45%. What does it mean? It means, let's say we have, okay, look, this is 100%. Consider this 100%. Okay. So we have a parent that is around, let's say, 45%. Okay. So this is around, let's say, take this as 45%. So when we say 80%, it means 80% of this 45%. So it's around this much. Child is always relevant to the parent. So if we were to give it, let's say, 100%, what would it mean? What does 100%?
It's gonna be full. It's gonna be
Exactly.
the
It's
full.
going to be full of what? This outer side or the inner side? This
No,
one?
the parent.
Very
The
good.
parent.
Exactly. And who's the parent of this one?
The one right outside.
Exactly. Very good. This one. So it's going to take up the full space of this parent. So percentages is always relevant to the parent. You need to remember this. We're going to do a lot of projects about this one, but the thing you need to remember now is percentage is always relevant to the parent. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to push it from the outside. Let's say I want to give it a push from outside. So now we're going to talk about the spacings. Okay, there are two kinds of spacing, the internal spacing and the external spacing. Okay, so inside the h1 I want to push it from the outside. So if you want to push an element from the outside, the property you are going to use is margins. Okay, so margin is for doing what?
Pushing the element from outside.
Very good, exactly, pushing the element from the outside. So I'm gonna say margin, okay, equals to, and let's say I'm going to write 100 px. Okay, 100 px means 100 pixels from, I want to push this element, this black one, from outside. How much? 100 pixels. Refresh it, and if you were to refresh it, can you now see the spaces? So what this 100% means is basically that you have to push this h1 100 pixels from every side. Now how many sides does this h1 have? Exactly, good, 4. So you have to move clockwise. CSS moves clockwise. So what is it's doing is, if we were to specify only one thing, we have specified margin is equals to 100 pixels. So if you were to specify only one thing, what CSS is going to do is it's going to push 100 pixels from the top, 100 pixels from the right, 100 pixels from the bottom, and 100 pixels from the left. Did you guys get it? No?
So 100 from all.
Yes, exactly. 100 from all of the sides. If you were to give only one thing, okay, if you, I'm going to repeat it again, if you were to give margins and you specify only one unit, one measurement, is going to do what? It's going to push that element from all four sides. And what are those four sides? You have to move clockwise: top, right, bottom, and then left. So what if I were to increase this? Let's say 200 px. What's this going to do? What will happen with this black one?
If you increase the margin, you're saying?
Yeah. If I increase the margin, what's going to happen?
Will it be pushed away?
Oh, very good. How much? Should it increase or decrease?
Or 200?
Yeah. Should it increase or decrease from this initial position? Increase. Good. So I'm going to refresh it. It increases. Did you guys get it? If you were to specify only one thing, one unit, one measurement, is going to do what? It's going to push from all four sides. Okay, I'm removing it, and then I'm going to specify. Now I'm going to do what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to write 100 px, and then I'll give space, and then I'll say 300 px. Now how many measurements have I specified? There are how many measurements?
You're doing two, which is 100
Exactly.
px and 300 px?
Exactly. Now I have two measurements. So how is this going to work? The 100 px is going to do what? It's going to give 100 px from top and bottom. If you were to specify two measurements, the first measurement is for what? Is for top and bottom of the element. Okay? And the second measurement is for what? What are we left with?
The right and left?
Exactly, the good. Right and left. So if I were to save it and refresh it, should I get more space from top and bottom, or left to right?
Left to right.
Exactly, good. Left and right. So if you were to see, we have 100 pixels from top, 100 pixels from bottom, and the space from left and right is how much? 300 pixels. As compared to, exactly, good. As compared to top one, this space is more. Why? Because we have specified more space for the left and right. Okay, I'm going to repeat it.
Both for the margin?
Yeah. Sorry?
Both for the margin, 100 px and 300 px?
It's both for the margin, yes. These two properties are for the same, these two values are for the same property. Okay, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to repeat again. So the first question for you guys is, what if I want to move this element? I want to move this element, not the text. If you want to move the text, what's the property? If you want to move the text,
Text align.
very good, text align. If you want to move element, what's the property? Yeah, if you want to move the element, we have to push it.
Margin.
Exactly, good. If you want to move the text, we have text align. If you want to move the element, we have margins. Okay, so I'm going to do what? I'm going to say margin, colons, and I'll say 200 px. Now what does this 200 px refers to? It's going to do what?
It's going to push it?
From how many sides?
4 sides.
Very good, 4 sides. Why is that? Because we have specified only one measurement. Save it, navigate, refresh. We have 200 pixels from the 4 sides. I'm gonna put space here, and I'll say 50 px. What is going to happen now?
Now it's going to move 200 px from the top and bottom.
Very good.
50 px from left to right.
Exactly, very good. So is this space going to be reduced, or this one?
The left to right.
Exactly, good. Refresh it, and the top and bottom space is same, but the left and right space is decreased. Okay, is it easy?
So it
It's going to be easy if you were to do it yourself. Okay, the real thing is when you do it yourself. Okay, so what if I were to do this? I want you to take a guess, and I hope that you guess it correct. Now I have specified how many things: one, two, three, four. So what is going to do it? You have to move like this. Yeah. Top. Exactly. Good. So how much space do we have from the top? What about the bottom? Very good. Exactly. The bottom one is this one. What about this one? What does this refers to? Mm-hmm. The right. Very good. What about this one? The left. Very good. Save it, refresh it, and now we have space of all four the different spaces. Okay, but again you're not going to use this one usually. So usually we have only one measurement or two measurements. Okay, but again you need to know this what this four parameters is going to do. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one and I'll say, let's say, save it and then refresh it. Did you guys get the basic concepts of margin?
Yeah.
Okay, so what margin is going to do is going to do what is going to align your element. Okay, you need to know the difference. If you want to align the text, you have the property of text align, but if you want to align the element, you have the property of margins. Very good. Okay, so what I want to do now is, it's really important, I want to get this black one, okay, this black element right in the center, like the dead center. How can we do that?
Like the words or like
No, the background, the black one. I want to put this black background right in the, sorry. Exactly. Where's up again? Okay. So basically, we have a property. For example, if you want to align the text right in the center, we have text aligned to be center. But if we have to put an element in the center, we have something like text align center, like margin to be auto. So what this auto is going to do is it's going to calculate everything, like how much space this is. It's going to calculate it. It's going to divide equally to the left and right side, and it's going to do what? It's going to put your black element right in the center. So this margin auto is like text align center, but for the element. Okay, I guess it's not okay. Okay, let me remove this one. Okay. So let's say I want to push this element from the left side, just from the left side. What should be the property? Like the margin is going to target all the four sides, all four sides. So if I want to target only the left hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say margin left. So it's going to target only the left side. So how much do you think I need to push this element in order for this element to be in the center? We can do some little math in order to do that. 50%, very good. It should be 50%, but if I were to put 50%, what's going to happen is this is going to happen. Is it in the center? It is in the center.
That's the center.
Yeah, that's the center. I must be crazy, right? Yeah, it is in the center, but only the corner part is in the center. Can you see this one? This corner part, is it in the center or not? It is in the center, but again, why doesn't it feel like it's in the center? Because this element has its own width as well, so that's what it basically pushes it to the right side. So we can do a little maths here. So let's say, what's the width of this element, this black one? 40%. So how much width are we left with this white part? How much is this white part? 60%. Exactly, good. So how do we divide this 60 into two equal parts so that this black should come in the center? Very good, exactly. If we were to divide this 60 into two equal parts, we're going to say 30%. Is it in the center now? It's dead in the center. But if I were to put a calculation like 43 point, can you do it now? We can do it, right? So that's why we when we assign this task to the CSS directly, we will say, I don't know how much width we have, I don't know, I don't really care. So what we'll say is, we'll assign this all of these calculation to CSS. How can we do that? We'll just say margin and then auto. Okay, what it's going to do is, it's going to do the same thing we did right now. Basically, it's going to calculate the space that we have. It's going to divide that space right into two equal parts like we did right now, but again, all of this is going to be done by CSS itself. Just by writing margin auto, you have the element in the center. Now this
Instead
property,
of doing all that math, you can just put auto.
exactly. So this is basically CSS is doing maths for you. So this property is like CSS is calculating everything and putting your element in the center. Okay, this
Wait,
property is
I have a
so,
question.
yeah.
When you write margin auto, right? Do
Yeah.
you also have to write like margin auto like center,
No.
or
This
does it
this
just know?
no. This center is basically auto in this margin case. In the margins case, the center is the auto. Okay, for the
Okay.
text we
So,
have the center element, center property, and for the margin we have the auto.
but
Okay.
before you wrote margin left,
Yeah,
so that was taking it was taking everything to
everything
push
from
it
the,
over to the left.
no. When I've written margin left, it's basically pushing from the left. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I
Okay.
were to
Okay.
write margin top, what's going to happen?
Pushing from the top.
Exactly. If I were to write
Oh, it's
margin
pushing
bottom,
from that area.
yes,
Okay. Oh, okay.
exactly.
Okay. Got it.
So if I were to write, for example, this, let's say we have margin and then top to be, let's say, 400 pixels. What's it going to do is, it's going to push from the top.
And
Okay,
it's gonna push 400.
yes, from the
Oh,
top.
okay. Okay.
So again, if we were to do, let's say, margin bottom, it's going to do what? It is now going to push everything from the bottom of that element.
So do we have to write the number, or you said we write margin auto?
No, you don't have to write the number. If you want to put that element in the center, you simply have to write margin auto. That's
Okay.
it. So this
Oh, okay.
property is really important. It's so important that we have to use it even at the end of the course in the form of designing. Whenever we have to design, this property is like the backbone of designing. It's really important.
Mhm.
Okay, so I need to be sure that you guys really get this property.
Yeah, we get it.
Okay, great. Margin auto is going to, so what does text align do? It basically aligns your text. So if we want to
Yes.
align the element, what's the property? What's the property for
Margin.
aligning the text?
Oh, text align.
And what's the property for aligning the element?
Margin.
Very good, exactly, margin. Okay, so are we clear on the margin part? Okay, so
Yes.
margin is going to do what? Margin is going to push the element from the outside. Okay, so the next part is, if you want to, if you were to look closely at this, let me zoom it a bit. If you were to look closely at this T or this text, is basically, it's joining with the borders of this element, right? What I want to do is, I want to put a space from the inside. Are we clear on the question?
It's padding.
Very good, exactly, it's padding. So if you want to put space from the outside, we have margin, and if you want to put space from the inside of the element, like if you want to push like this from this part to this part, wait, let me draw this. Wait, let me draw on the screen. We have manage extension and allow access to file URLs. Okay, so look, if you were to have this space, this one, I want to have this more of this space. So what's basically what I want to do is, I want to put space from the inside of the element. Okay, so for the outside we have margin, and for the inside we have padding. You said it right, good. Padding. Margin for the outside spacing, padding is from the inside spacing. So if I were to write 100px, what is this going to do? I've only written one argument, one measurement. What
It
is
wouldn't make
Padding
space inside.
all
somehow?
four sides.
Very good, exactly. All four sides is going to put space from all four sides from inside the element. Okay.
Only if it's 100%, then it's all four sides.
Yeah, it's all four sides. So if I were to write this, now what? What is it going to do now?
It's gonna make the right side smaller.
It's gonna make the right side how much?
50 px.
Very good. Only the right side or left one as well?
Only the right side.
Uh-huh. I've only specified two arguments.
Okay, so if it's 4, then it goes around.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
100 pixels from top and bottom, and 50
Alright.
pixels from left and right. Save it.
Alright.
Refresh. Now the left and right hand sides are collapsed. Did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Or shall we do it again?
Yeah.
Let's do it again one more time.
What
Save
if you
it.
write only 3?
Oh yes, good question. Very good question. So if I were to write only, let's say, 3, so what's going to happen? We have the top part, we have the right part, we have the bottom part. So what about the left part? Why did we leave the left one out? So what's going to happen?
Because the is it because the right one also takes the left one
Very
too?
good. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. So if you don't specify the left part, the right one is going to take up the space. If you don't specify the bottom part, the top one is going to basically accommodate for the bottom part. Okay? So we have again 50-50 px from left and right. Even though if you haven't specified the left part, the right part is going to accommodate for the left part as well.
It
Okay?
says your call ends in 15 minutes.
We have time. We have 15 minutes, so I'll start a new meeting in 15 minutes. Okay? Okay, great. So let's say I'm gonna put 100 px on it. Did you guys get the padding and margin?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was the
Yes.
main topic for today's class. Now we're gonna do some more designing as well. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to make this black part, really nice. At the moment, this back part has really sharp borders. Okay. What I want to do is I want to make these borders a little round. Okay. So the property for rounding the borders, we have border radius. So how are we going to write border radius?
Border dash
Border
radius.
dash radius. Good. Okay. What is this property? What this property is for? It's basically going to round your corners. Okay, corners of the element. So let's say we're gonna say 10 px maybe. It's gonna round them a little bit. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were
Yeah.
to, let's say make it a bit more, 50 pixels, is gonna round it more. If I were to do it again with some more, it's gonna do again. If I were to do, let's say, 200 pixels, it's gonna make it whole round. Now if you were to increase it more, nothing's going to happen. Can you tell me why?
Because it doesn't affect the size. It just the corners.
Why is that? Why doesn't it affect the sides anymore?
Because
Yes,
it's not padding. It's border
it doesn't
radius.
have the height, it doesn't have any more size to accommodate more roundness. So this is as much as it goes for the round part. Okay, so according to the height, that is the maximum it can go. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much you've put, it's gonna be like this. Okay. Okay, did you guys get about the border part, the border radius part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
great.
write border dash radius and then the semicolon and then
No,
the
no, not the
px of
semicolon,
it.
colons.
The colon.
Yeah. The
And
colons.
then the
Yeah,
number px and then semicolon close it, then it'll change it.
yeah, just like that.
Okay.
So if you
Okay,
want, if
got
you
it.
were to change it a little bit, you have to put, let's say, a bit of, pixels. So it's gonna do it a little bit. If you were to do it, if you were to increase it, it's gonna increase the radius as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move to the next property?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say now I want to do what I want to do a word. What I'm going to put a border around this element. What is border?
Mm,
The
The
corner.
The line.
Yeah,
The
the
line
line, the
around.
corners. Yeah, exactly. Good. So the property for border is simply border. Okay. So border takes up around 3 parameters from you. Now, what are parameters? You haven't asked me about the parameters. Parameters are basically like the inputs. Okay, like this takes up this is taking up one parameter from you. So the border takes up 3 parameters from you simultaneously. Okay, So the first thing you need to put is the width of the border. So let's say I want the border to be 5 pixels thick. Okay. Second thing is, it takes the style of the border. Like, how do you want your border? Do you want your border to be dotted? Do you want your border to be rounded, dashed, or you want your border to be solid line? So what do you want it to be? So for the time being, we'll say I want my border to be solid line. And the last thing is, it takes the color of your border. So let's say we'll say yellow, and at the end we're going to put semicolon. So what it's going to do is, it's going to give us, can you see? Let me give it another color. Let's say gold, maybe. No, I can't see it properly. Let's say red. Yeah, let's choose. So what it's going to do is, it's going to put a 5 pixels, okay, 5 pixels of solid line and the color of red. So if I were to change this solid back to, let's say, dotted, what's going to happen? What do you think?
It'll become dotted.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be again dotted, but it's going to be 5 pixels thick. Again, if I were to put, let's say, dashed, it's going to do what? It's going to put dashes in that part. Okay,
Yeah.
easy. Okay, so let's move towards some new topics, and yeah. So what I want to do now is, let's move towards some animations. Okay, let's some fancy stuff. So the topic is the pseudo classes. So what does pseudo means? Pseudo, pseudo classes. So what does pseudo means? Pseudo by definition means fake. Okay. So what pseudo classes means is, you already have styles built in, but you want some additional styling on those styles. So what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to do is, what I want right now is, if I were to put my cursor, put my mouse on this black part, I want this black part to change into another color only when I have my mouse on this black part. Did you guys get the question?
One more
Yeah.
time. I didn't get it.
Okay. So what I want to do is, if I were to put my mouse on this black part, okay, if I were to take my mouse on this black part, this my cursor on this black part, I want this black part to change color. Okay,
Oh,
shall I repeat it again?
no, that's good.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, so what's going to happen is, if I were to take my cursor on this black part, I want this black part to change color, but only if I were to take my mouse on this black part. Okay, so how can we do that? We can achieve that in CSS using pseudo classes. Okay, so which part do I want to do this styling in? Like, which part do I want to change?
The background?
The background of what?
Mm.
What is this element, this black one?
H1.
H1, very good. So I'm going to do what? After the actual element, I'm going to go out of these curly braces. Okay, out of the curly braces, because it's totally different styling. I'm going to say H1, and then I'm going to put colon. So this is the syntax for writing pseudo classes. Okay, I'm going to say the actual element I want to style, and then colon, and then I want to do what? I want to take my mouse on this class, on this H1. Okay, so if you were to do some styling, if you were to take your mouse there, we have a special name for that, that's called hover. Okay, so what it's saying is, if I were to hover upon this H1, then do something. Okay, so what it's going to do is, it's,
I have a question.
yeah.
So you know how you wrote H1 first up top,
Yeah,
and then on the bottom you also write H1, but it's different, right?
it's different, right?
But
Exactly, good.
the computer already knows. Okay, he's already talking about H1, so it's the same thing.
So basically what it's going to do is, very good question, anyways. Okay, so basically this is going to do what is, this H1 is the default styling. Okay, this is the styling that is already going to apply when your website is going to load. Okay, whereas this styling is only going to be applied when you hover upon that element. So these two are same but different.
Okay.
Okay, this
Yeah.
style is going to be applied by default as soon as your website loads, but this style is going to be applied when
You hover up on it.
Very good, exactly. So again, we're gonna do what? We're gonna put curly braces. So what I want to do is, when I hover upon this H1, I want the background to turn into, let's say, give me a color, any color, uh, a darker
Green.
one. Green. Okay, good. That's green, and then semicolon. It didn't change. Why isn't it changing? Why isn't it changing?
Because the mouse is not on it.
Exactly, good. The mouse isn't hovering upon that element. So if I were to take my cursor on this element, it's going to do what? It's going to change.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be more cool. Just give me a minute. So what I want to do is, so if you were to see it, it's basically it's instantly changing it, right? It's instantly changing it from black to green. What I want to do is, I want it to take some time as it shifts from black to green. Okay, as I take my cursor on this element, it's instantly changing the color. But I want to do what? I want to, I want to ask CSS to take some time when changing from black to green. Okay, is it okay or not? The question is, I
Yeah.
want CSS to take some time when it's changing from one state to another state, that is from black to green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how can we do that? There's another property that does that. So I want to do is, I want it's instantly changing it, I want it to take some time. So how can we do that? There's a property that does it, that's called, yeah, yeah,
Oh.
sorry.
No, still sorry.
Okay, okay. So there's a property that's called transition. So what does transition means?
Like a
Transition.
change.
Exactly, like a change,
Yeah.
the change from one state to another. So
Yeah.
in the actual element, not in the hover part. Okay, you don't have to, you shouldn't put this property in the hover part. You have to put it in the actual element. Okay, inside the actual element, we'll say transition. Okay, transition is doing what, is for what? For, smoothness. I want to make this process smooth. So in order to make this process smooth, you have a property called transition. Okay, I'll put columns, and then the first thing it takes is, it takes a lot of things, but the first thing it takes is, which property do you want to smoothen? So which property do we want to smoothen? What is the property that I want to be smooth?
Where to go? Hover.
No, 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 the property.
Is
What?
it H1?
No, no, no. What property is changing in the hover
Oh,
part?
the color?
Yeah, which color? The background color. Yes, good. So I want to smooth this property, right? So the first thing is going to take is, which thing you want to smoothen? I want to smoothen what? I want to smoothen background color. Okay. Second thing it takes is, how much time do you need for it to change from one state to another? So if I were to say, let's say 4 seconds, what now is going to happen, the effect that is from changing black to green color is, it's going to take how much time? It's going to take 4
4
seconds
seconds.
now. Yeah, if I were to refresh it, I want you to see it. I'm hovering upon it. Okay, it's taking how much time? 4 seconds. If I were to remove my mouse again from green to black, here you go. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it one more time. But yeah, let's do it one more time. Remove it, remove this one as well, refresh it, and now we have nothing going on. Okay, so I'm going to repeat my question again, but this time you're going to tell me how we can do that. So what I want to do is, if I were to hover upon this, I want to change the color. How can we do that?
Send.
Sorry?
H1
No. What's the concept? What's the name of that concept?
hover.
Hover is what? Hover is the actual property. The concept.
H1?
One.
No, H1 is the element. Now, the concept is the pseudo classes. Okay, the pseudo classes. So
Pseudo.
which element do we want to apply the pseudo classes on? This H1. So how can we write that?
H1,
H1, good.
colon,
Colons,
hover.
hover, good. And then
Curly brackets.
curly braces, good. What do we want to do when we hover upon this?
The back.
The background color. Good. So we're gonna say background dash
Oh,
color,
dash.
and then
And then the color.
no. The first thing is I want to equal it now.
What's what?
So how do we equal something in a CSS?
Color.
Columns. Good. So this time we'll put another color. Let's say blooming.
Pink.
Oh, pink.
Pink. Okay, pink, and then semicolon. If you were to refresh it, it's gonna change it to pink. Well, that's a nice effect. Changing
But
from
that's
darker to
instant.
darker to lighter color. Okay, so but I want to smoothen this effect. How can we do that?
By
Uh,
adding
By adding,
the
Transition.
sorry,
transition.
Transition.
transition. Good. So where do we add transition? In the hover or in the actual element?
In the H1.
Exactly, in the H1, the actual element. So what's the property? The property is transition. Very good.
Colon.
And then the first thing it takes is which property do you want to smoothen? So which property do you want to smoothen?
The background color.
Very good, the background color. So let's say I'm gonna write I want to smoothen the background color, and the second thing it takes is the second thing. What does it take? The time we want to do that. The time we want to we want to take we want it to take as it changes the color. So let's say I'll say this time 2 seconds and then the semicolon. Save it, refresh it, and now it's gonna take 2 seconds as it changes the color. Okay, so I want to do something else as well. Let's say as it changes the color, as I hover upon this, I want to increase the size of this element as well. Oh, publish recording now. Yeah. Okay. So with changing the color, I want to increase the font size as well. Okay, as it's changing the color on hovering upon, I want to change the size of the text as well. So how can we do that? But only if I hover upon it. How can we do that? Come on guys, it's really easy.
Font size.
Yeah, good. Where do I put font size? In this H1 on the hover part.
Hover.
Yeah, hover. Why? Because I want to change the size if I move my cursor on this element. Okay, so inside the hover, what I'm going to do is I put font size, and let's say by default is 32. I'm gonna say 50 px maybe. But there is going to be a problem. It's going to work, but there's going to be a problem. Can you see the problem? Is there any problem or not?
Yeah, it gets small, and then
No, wait. Let me skip it 100%.
It goes. It's too fast. It goes away too
Exactly. Which is too fast, the color or the font size part?
fast. Font size.
Exactly. Why is it fast? Can you tell why is it fast?
Because we didn't give it a transition.
Exactly. We have only put the transition on the background color. Yes. But again, for example, if we were to have like 10 properties in hover, do we have to write again and again the names of those 10 properties? It doesn't seem logical, right? So if I want, let's say I want to put transition on every element that is specified in the hover. Okay, so there's a shortcut for that. I'll just say all. Okay, so what this all is going to do is going to apply transition to all of the elements, all of the properties that are specified in the hover part. Okay.
Where did you write all?
Okay, so basically before that it was written background color, right? We have background color written here. What
Yeah.
was the problem with this one? What is the problem with this setup?
It was too fast.
The too fast is which part? The background color or the font size one?
The
Which property is changing too fast?
font size.
Exactly, the font size and the font size. And why is that?
I need the transition.
Yeah, they need the transition. I did put the transition, but the transition is only for what? Only for the background color. Yes, I have to
Yeah.
put font size here as well. But my question for you guys is, if I were to have, let's say, 20 properties in this hover, okay, if I were to have 20 properties in this, I have to put transition on every one of them, right?
Yeah.
So do I have to write all of the names of the properties here? Like, it doesn't
You
seem
can just
logical.
write all.
Yeah, you can
So
simply
you will
write.
save your time.
Yes,
Oh.
and plus it's going to optimize my code. Like, I don't have to write all of the names. Okay, so simply write all. It's going to do what? It's going to put transition on all of the elements, that all of the properties that are specified in this hover part. Okay, save it, and if you were to refresh it, and now you can see that we have the smoothness. Okay, now I want to do what? I want to change the text color as well as I am hovering upon this. How do I do that? Let me give it 60 pixels would be enough, I guess. Yeah, okay, and let me decrease the time as well to make it a little fast. Yeah, now it's good. Okay, how can I do that? I want to change this red to something else. What's the property for changing the color?
Would it be the font size again?
Sorry?
No. The color, the
No, I want to change the color for this font. What's the property for changing the color? Color? Yes? Just the color.
Yeah.
So, but I want to change the color only when I am hovering upon this. So where do I
You
put
put
it?
it equal hover.
Very good. I put it in the hover. Good, very good. So let's say I want to change the color of this red to give me some color that looks good when transitioning from red to something.
Mm,
And it should look good on the pink part as well.
orange.
Orange with now both of them are going to be light. The pink and the orange are going to be light. Let's say
Yellow. Oh.
yellow. Yes, maybe yellow. Let's say yellow. Can you see the transition?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make it more interesting. I want to do what? As I'm hovering upon this, I want to give it a word. Like, I want to spin it 360 degrees. Okay, only if I am hovering upon this one. So we have a new property. It's called transform. Okay, transform. Okay, I want to do what? I want to rotate it 360 degrees. Okay, the property for that is transform, but it's only going to work when I am going to hover upon it. Okay, so I'll say transform and I'll say rotate. The value is rotate. Okay, and then it's gonna ask, and it's gonna take parentheses from me. Inside these parentheses, it's gonna take how much do I want to rotate it. So what's the full spin? How much is a full spin?
60?
360? 360.
60%?
360. 360, and I'll say then deg. What does this deg refers to? Degrees. Yeah. Save it. Refresh it. It's gonna do what? It's gonna spin 360 degrees. Okay.
Is there a time for speed?
Yeah. There is. Look. We've specified that this all of this animation should complete it how much seconds? 1 second. So if I want to slow it down, what should I do? Yes.
Will the number go less?
Now if I were to decrease it, it's gonna increase the speed. I want to, yeah, if I were to increase it, let's say 6 seconds. Now all of these properties that are in the hover part is gonna take how much time? 6 seconds to complete. Yeah, good. If I were to refresh it again, look, it's gonna take 6 seconds to do all of it. Okay, so let me remove this some padding, decrease the padding, because I'm going to show you something else as well. Okay, so okay, Now what I want to do is, as I'm rotating this, I want to zoom it as well. Okay, as I'm rotating this, all of this, I want to zoom this element as well. Did you guys get the question? Like what I want to do is, okay, as I'm rotating it, I'm going to zoom it as well. So if you were to zoom in or zoom out an element, there's a property, the same property, transform, and after the rotate you are going to put scale. So basically like you're scaling up or scaling down that element. Okay, so let's say I'll say, as I'm hovering upon, the scale should go up to, let's say by default is 1. Okay, by default whatever you're seeing here is 1. So I'm gonna say 2. Save it, refresh it. Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
So now it's going back to 1.
And this is a rotate.
This is a story.
Like rotate and scale together.
Yeah, you have to use them together, otherwise it's not going to work.
With transform, right?
With transform, yes, the property is transform and the values are rotate and scale. We have other properties as well. I'm gonna tell you about it, but not yet, because it's gonna be really much. Okay, it's gonna be too much. So what we shall do it again. Okay, all of this we shall do it again. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove the transition as well, and now this time you guys are going to dictate me everything we want to do. And let's say decrease, I guess, the border as well, because this is too much. Is, let's say, not where this, yeah, border radius. Let me decrease this border radius. Yeah, now it's good, and yeah, I think it's good. Okay, so you have to dictate me everything. Okay, so what I want to do first is, I want, as I hover upon this, h1, I want it to be zoomed in. The first thing I want to do is, I want this to be zoomed in. What should I do? But only if I were to take my mouse on it. So what's the property? h1, good. And then columns, good. Covered, very good. Curly brackets, yeah. And then I want to zoom in. What's the property for that? The zooming part.
Transform.
Very good. Transform.
Element.
Very good. And then,
And a scale.
very good. The scale.
Rotate and
Scale. Now the rotate is going to rotate it. I want to zoom in. So zoom in part is scale, and then,
then the parentheses.
very good, the parentheses. By default, what's the scale for every element?
1.
Very good, 1. So this time I'm gonna keep it a bit low. Let's say 1.5. So if I were to hover it, can you see? But again, there is a problem, right? And what's the problem?
The transition.
Oh, very good. The transition. Where do we put the transition? In the hover part?
No, that's
No. But you haven't asked me, why don't we have to put in the hover part? Why shouldn't we put in the hover part? So that's why I'm. Yeah, no. You have to ask me first before I have to ask you that. So okay, take a guess. Why should we put in the hover part? So if I were to put, let's say, transition, you guys think about it. Why should we put in the transition part? Let's say transition, and what's values for that?
Is it because you want it to happen even if you don't scroll on it?
Exactly. Very good, Mr. Hacker. Very good. Okay, so basically we have transition, and what's the value for that? What's the value for transition? Transition. I put the property transition. What's the values for transition?
Transform.
All. Yes, I want to put transition to all of the elements, and let's say I want it to happen in 2 seconds. So Mr. Amir has said it very nicely. So what's going to happen is, if I were to take my mouse on it, the transition is going to be applied, yes. But if I were to take my cursor out of this element, it's going to do what? Can you see? It's like a snap. Why is that? Mr. Amir has said it correctly, because transition is applied only when I hover upon this element. If I take my cursor out of this element, it doesn't going to happen. It is not going to affect it. Why? Because the transition is applied only in the hover part. So that's why you always have to put transition in the actual element outside the hover. so that even if I were to take my mouse inside or outside the element, the transition happens. Okay. Okay, so I want to do what I want to increase the size of the text as well as I'm hovering upon. What should I do? Very good. Where do we put font size? Inside the H1 or the hover part? I want to do it. Yeah, hover. The hover. As I'm taking my mouse on it, I want to do it as only then. So let's
I
say
thought also it was in each one the font size.
the fonts. Look, I want to do what? I want to increase the font size only when I take my cursor on this one. So that's why I have to put in the hover part. Okay. So let's say font size. Let's say by default, what's the size for H1? The default size for H1.
I wrote 60, but is it like 30?
32. Yes. So I'll write let's say 60 pixels. Save it. Refresh it. And look, it's increasing the size, but it's not looking really good. So let me decrease the size by let's say 15 pixels. Yeah, now I guess it's okay, but let me decrease the scale as well. Yeah, now it's good. Okay. Also, I want to have some space from the upper part as well. What should I do? Very good. Margin only from the top part. So what should I say inside the actual element? What should I say if I want to have margins only from the top side?
Margin top.
Very good. Margin, and then top. Let's say I want the margin to be of 100 pesos. Yeah, now it's good. Yes, great. Okay, now what I want to do is, it's a new property. I want to rotate my element a bit like this. Okay, I want to let me show you something. So after the transform, there's another value that's called skew. Do you guys know about skewing? Like rotating but in a certain direction. So skew is going to take something angle. Let's say I'm going to put 45 deg. Save it, refresh it. Can you see?
Yeah.
So it's basically like skewing the actual thing, like
It's
I
like
don't know.
slanted.
So, yeah, slanted, exactly. That was the word I was searching for. The slanted. Yes, good. So if you were to put 45 degrees, it's going to do what? It's going to do it on the x-axis. Okay, so now after skewing it, I want to rotate it as well. So what's the value for rotating? Yes. Very good, rotate. I have already put the transform here, so I only have to put rotate after the scale and then the skew, and let me give some space, and I'll say what? Rotate, and then I'll say 360 deg. Save it, refresh, and it's gonna be yes. It's like a frisbee kind of thing. Okay, here you go. Okay. Okay, so let's change the color as well, the background color as well. How can we do that? As I hover upon it, only then. Yeah, background dash color. The all properties now starts to get boring, right? Let's say, okay, give me a color. Let's say black and red. Let's say red, and the text color should be changed into black one. So let's say color and then black. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions about everything we've discussed until this point? And we did discuss a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna bother you anymore. So for the homework part, this is the homework. Everything we did in the class, this is your homework. Okay, I'm not gonna give you a separate assignment for it. Everything we discussed, the hover part, and the main thing is the margin and the padding part. You have to practice that a lot. Okay, they are basically like the core of the, you can say, up until this at this point, these two topics, margin and padding, are the core. Okay, so you have to study a lot of the margins and paddings. Okay, other than that, the things we've discussed in this class are your homework. Okay, you have to practice the hover part, the margins, the padding, and the width is also really important. Okay, any questions?
So we just practice and that's it?
Yeah, that's it for today. That's it. I'm gonna give you assignments tomorrow,
This is
inshallah.
the easiest homework you gave us so far.
Okay. Yeah, because as the course as the course progresses, it's gonna get difficult. So that's why I'm giving you a day off.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
That's
Okay.
it.
So I guess you can leave the meeting. So we'll meet inshallah tomorrow. Okay.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.